Today we are going to talk about a very important lesson for earnings trading, diversification. We teach it in the Strategy Masterclass, and it is probably the most pivotal part to trading earnings successfully. Why is it so important? Because any individual event can go terribly wrong, right? We are basically selling insurance around a very volatile day, and on these days, things can move a lot. So if we are concentrated into one or two events in a season, we are setting ourselves up to have a potentially bad time. The way we get around this is by diversifying, taking many trades every day throughout the season so that we are not subject to the outcome of any particular event. And today is a really good example of that because we placed 5 trades, 4 of them went brilliantly, 1 of them went terribly wrong. But between the diversification we had within the ETF strategy, within the earnings strategy, plus the returns from the ETF strategy, we basically broke even on the day. And that's pretty cool. We actually had experienced, a 200% loser on one of our trades on FLR, and we still basically broke even today. Now that's obviously, full disclaimer, not to say that you will never have a losing day if you diversify. You will still have losing days. But this is definitely the case that if we had not placed many trades, if FLR, which looked like a good trade, right? And I guess theoretically it is a good trade, even though we lost money on it. The data looked good. If we had all our eggs in that one basket, we would be crying today, right? We'd be very sad. But instead, we just shed one tear and then we quickly wipe it away and move on with our lives. So big lesson here today is 2 things. Number 1, diversify. You want to have some filtering system because we're not able to take every single earnings trade in existence. But you don't want your system to be so stringent that you take 1 trade in the entire season or something, right? You need to find that balance for yourself where you need to have enough trades that you're not concentrated into a couple events, but you want to filter as well and try to avoid the landmines. So for me, that's using like the straddle back test, that's using the implied versus average move, that's looking at the shape of the returns, things like that, what you've seen me do basically in the past 9 or 10 videos or whatever we've done together. So that's lesson number 1. Now, lesson number 2 is that you need to remember that a losing event can get out of hand really quickly. And for that, we're going to use FLR as our case study again. So let's come over here. Let's pull up FLR stock. Check this out. FLR is down 16% right now. If we come back over to the brokerage and we take a look at that FLR trade, it should be somewhere on this list. FLR right here. We were short the 55 put and like the 65 call or something like that, 55-65 strangle. We originally sold that structure for $1.40 and we exited for about $4.50. This ticker was trading at, 52 bucks or something like that when we got out, $51, something like that. I was very tempted to hold on to this thing, but I didn't. I got out in the morning as we planned, and right now this thing is trading at $49.63. Think about, if you look at our returns here, right? Like every single trade, our returns are somewhere around 50 to 120 bucks. This trade today was a loser of about $300. It would have been a $500 loser, almost double in size if we had not stuck with our plan. And it's so tempting to hold on to losing trades hoping they come back, but so often they will just continue to get worse. And because like the premium we're collecting is so small, it's tempting to like really scale up the trade. It's tempting to be like, hey, things have been going good recently. We're going to sell 5 lots instead of 3 lots or 10 lots now because we might as well be getting a few $100 for each trade instead of $50 to $100, right? But you have to remember that it amplifies your loss situations too, right? It takes that loss situation of $150 to $200 and can make it $1,000, right? This FLR trade, if I had 2 lots on, it's just 2 lots instead of 1 lot. Doesn't sound like a big difference, right? We'd go from $1.50 in premium to $3 in premium collected. This would have been a $600 loss, right? This would have wiped out the last week and a half of gains. It would have sucked. But because we didn't do that, we're like exactly where we wanted to be, right? Now, one thing you could do is if you have room for margin, like you can scale everything up, right? So like if you're just underutilizing your margin, you can scale everything, but don't pick and choose, don't get fancy with it, and don't cross the line, right? You want to use your margin efficiently. You don't want to over leverage it because you're just setting yourself up for a bad time. Those are the two main lessons that I wanted to talk about today. If y'all have any questions about that, I'd actually like to open up a discussion around these because I think they're important lessons. I don't want to see anyone make some bad mistakes, so let's chat about it. We can chat about it in the group, or, help out the algo, leave a comment, I'll reply. That'd be really great. The other thing that we can chat about quickly here is what I did for the ETF strategy. I have not rolled into a new position on XLF. I said goodbye to that ticker for now. I still think it's a good trade. Instead, I decided to use a little bit more margin towards the ETF strategy. And so I put on a DIA position. I think DIA is going to be a good ticker going forward. I think it'll make sense to do a rotation of it here. So I put it on. Didn't think about it much more than that. It's on the list, right? It's top of the list. Come over here. There it is. Number one, leading the way. Why wouldn't we put it on? If we pull up the back test for it, we look at the VRP, look at the back test. This is exactly what we want to see. And this is, of course, exactly what we want to see as well. I would love my portfolio to look this way, and that is why I have it now in my portfolio. It's definitely bigger than the other trades. So as we approach market close here, something that I'm likely to do is probably increase the size of the other ones by one lot, bring it a little bit more into line so we're not as concentrated in the DIA return. The other ones have been performing well as well, so I don't mind doing that. And then that's really it. I don't know if there's any earnings Monday morning or Friday tonight, but I don't trade them over the weekend. I just avoid that. So I'm not doing that. And so yeah, just got these ETF trades going into the weekend. Now, look, I know some of you were holding GLD, and GLD did not do too well last week with the move after the event, after the election. It was 3% down, I believe, which is a big move for GLD. Take some time to lick those wounds and move on, right? It's one cycle. If you had the long hedge on, covered about half the loss that you would have taken. It's not that bad. Don't worry about it. Keep it on. Obviously, it sucks, but think about the situation itself. In the grand scheme of things, assuming you're properly sized and stuff, it's not that bad. And if you were able to take off the long hedge as well, if you took the whole thing off and you're just done with that ticker for some reason, pick another one from the list. It doesn't matter, right? One's not better than the other. So do what you need to do. If you want to talk about any of those types of situations, feel free to send me a message. You can message me on Discord or in the just through email, I guess, probably be best. Feel free to do that. And look, it was a crazy week. We had the election. We had all this stuff. All these stocks going to the moon, right? I believe SPX just crossed like 6K or something. So things are skyrocketing, right? It's crazy. This is, I think that the next little while, at least until the end of the year, I think it's going to be a great environment. I'm expecting to make some money. I'm hoping the same for everyone else in the community. All right, if you got any questions for me, let me know. Sorry for rambling there at the end. I tend to do that. And leave a comment on the video, like the video, dislike it, leave a hateful comment, leave a nice comment. All of it actually helps us. And go ahead, do it. We also crossed 5,000 subs. So good stuff for the community, everyone. All right, I'm done. Take care. We'll chat Monday.